and welcome back to Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl, Wealth Transformation. I'm Dr. Cheryl. I'm very honored to introduce our guest this evening, Vinca Hart. This is the first part of a two-part discussion with Vinca. This is the second part of a two-part discussion with Vinca. Vinca Hart knows what it means to take a stand to face in great odds. She was raised behind the Berlin Wall, where the risk of imprisonment or death for not following the status quo was a real possibility. In the face of oppression, Vinca and her family made a choice and decided to join the underground movement with the hope of radical social change. Vinca served as a key politician, helped build the movement from a handful to millions, which led to the fall of the Berlin Wall. There is a monument executed for Vinca and the other freedom leaders in Magdeburg. How do we say that? Magdeburg, Germany. Thank you. Growing up in a dictatorship regime didn't allow Vinca the freedom of speech, and one of the ways she expressed herself was as a child, as a piano prodigy. When the wall came down, Vinca made the bold move to come to America without knowing the language, and graduated from the exclusive Juilliard School in New York. Once arriving in America, Vinca had to quickly learn a new culture and create livelihood for herself out of thin air. She created one successful business after another, including serving as a sales expert for Daimler, Chrysler, and Christie's, and is best known for her specialty of serving high-end and celebrity clientele. She has coached and counseled members of the German Parliament, CEOs, Oscar nominees, Grammy winners, Tony winners, and other influential VIPs around the globe. Vinca is most grateful for the freedom of speech, her loving husband, and inspiring her clients to create multiple six-figure success while making a difference in the world. This is the second part of a two-part discussion with Vinca.
Empowerment, like you said, empowerment. And it's interesting, when I go to Europe, people are more relaxed around the basic needs.
Yeah, well, that's because they're taken care of.
Yeah.
I mean, in the U.S.,
yeah,
healthcare, education
yeah,
are the two main things that we're struggling with. And Obama is making a stance on these issues. And so, it's been needed to be reorganized for many, 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 many years. And so maybe we'll see it in the near future. Yeah. I hope so, because if we have those two things secure, then things will be so much easier, to focus on other things that are more important, like living our passion and our purpose and helping people, and especially helping people and giving.
Yeah. Well, and there's this thing of sometimes having prejudice when somebody has more than you, and then the comparison of yourself in a society that is not quite giving to the basic needs of a woman. When a woman has a baby, how is she taken care of? If she gets older, how is she taken care of? It's not there in the mindset, and that creates a lot of pressure.
Yes, well, I've been a single mom since I was 3 months pregnant, and I had no help.
Yeah.
So, but I haven't allowed any bitterness. I've worked through the pain, the suffering, the lack of support from family. My friends are my family, and and you just do. But it's our responsibility to take care of ourselves, so we don't become bitter and negative.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of my whole thing, is staying positive no matter what.
Yeah.
Because there's no option. There's
true.
no choice.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care what anybody says about that. We have to self-nurture every day,
Yeah.
so we can stay positive.
Yeah.
And be that light to other people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm about.
Yeah.
And so do you think that you apply spiritual principles to your wealth and your finances? I mean, how do you apply that now?
Well, spirituality in the sense of how I am, I call, I teach something called sacred sales.
Right.
Because women are really scared of sales. And I want independence for women in the sense of that they have independence in their wealth.
Yes.
So that they can think and thrive and support everyone else that they do already.
Yeah.
And so with sacred sales, there's like the way I teach is that you need to create sacred space the way you're just talking about listening, right? The part of being able to listen without judgment, without your own agenda, without manipulation, has a huge impact on your business and how you communicate and how you relate to people, to your potential clients, to your potential customers, has a huge impact.
And that really, the key or the root of that is having self-confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's the most important thing, is having that ownership of your empowered wealth inside of yourself.
Yeah.
And knowing that and feeling it, knowing it, so then you come across that way.
Yeah.
And more women today are emerging on that level than I've ever seen. And I'm loving watching this unfold because it's time.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of women in our programs. We have like 95% of women who want to build their own business.
Mm-hmm. Leading up to my next, since you're living your passion and your purpose now, where do you get your true wealth? You know, your spiritual wealth. Where do you get that true wealth for yourself? And,
Yes.
and I know you teach it, but, if you can put it into words other than what you just said.
Well, true wealth is something that makes you happy and fulfilled, right? Because a lot of people...
It isn't just money.
No, but because a lot of people try to make money in ways, and they're trying to find ways, and it's not really what they love to do,
Yes.
right? And not that you can have a hobby, I'm not saying that, but it's at the same time, if you hate something or if you don't dislike something, it will show up in a non-prosperous way. Because if you love something and you have to have passion, especially when you build a business or you want to make good money and you want to live well, you have to put in the hours and the passion.
Yes.
And go through the ups and downs.
Yes.
and the struggles.
And that's the test of your passion, when you go through the ups and the downs.
That's right. So it's really important for you to feel that and to be connected with that. And that's where the true wealth is. And a lot of people sometimes think, oh, but they would do it even if they make a little money in the beginning, right? And then they build it up.
Yes, yes.
And it doesn't matter in that moment in the beginning that I'm making $1 million. And it's interesting, a lot of people that we joint venture with now, it's like the first launch or getting that first big client, or, that's the time we mostly celebrate. And to really, that's where the wealth is, when you do the things that you love doing without anybody else telling you what you had to do.
Yes,
a lot of women,
amen.
Yes, a lot of women have to do things, they didn't even ask themselves what they could do with their life, their passion.
Right, it's defining that.
Yes.
Redefining that.
Redefining it and finding it and bringing it out in all kinds of ways.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes. Oh.
And that's the true wealth. And if you get the right mentoring and if you put everything in there and you keep steady through the ups and downs, people get rewarded and the women get rewarded.
Oh, yes.
I've seen it over and over again.
Yes.
Yes.
So what's the conversation that you have with yourself in your own mind and with others about wealth?
Well, the thing that I usually teach is the money codes, right? The money codes are developed through the time that I grew up in a different economy system, then experiencing another economy system, different currencies. And it was interesting to see the patterns, how people were relating to each other, depending on how much money they grew up with. And it was interesting for me to see how they created walls between each other.
The women that you're talking
The
about.
women, yes.
Yes.
If you have somebody who's very wealthy and somebody who's very poor, there are some difficulties of communicating and judging.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
And also I saw them that they were stuck because, no matter if you have little money or enough money or more than enough money, you have issues no matter what. And it's about balancing the positive and the negative no matter which circumstances you are in.
Yes.
And to really become aware of your money patterns and your money codes.
And don't you think that really, to me, one of the most important mentalities and feelings around that is being grateful, even when you don't have any money, and especially when you have a lot of money, is being grateful for what you have, no matter where you are in your life and what you're doing. Is being grateful.
Yeah, that's true. But I think for me it's all about communication, right? And building business also is about who's in front of you and how to relate and how to understand them. So sometimes, when you have a person who grew up with more than enough money, I call them Rockefellers, right?
Yes.
They don't feel very blessed sometimes around their money because it was attached.
They don't appreciate it.
Well, but there was a lot of isolation that came with it.
Yes, and manipulation too.
That too, and a lot of judgment from people that they have to hold. So it's hard for them sometimes to appreciate isolation and judgment and being treated differently, and is a friend a real friend, or are they just a friend because of my money? When you grow up with that, or with a lot of service around you, people who take care of you, who are getting paid to be your friends, right? It's a hard upbringing, but it's about,
again, even I totally appreciate what you're saying, but it's doing that inner work so you get past that, so you have that confidence internally that you can express it externally, and then who is and who isn't.
Well,
but it takes work.
It does take work, yes. And we do these 3-day events where people have so many breakthroughs because they find out which money code they are, and then also they can work on it. They can step out of the isolation or the distrust of people because it hurts them so much. It's a burden. And at the same time, for people who have very little monies, I call them Rockies. They're the fighters.
The Rockefeller and the Rockies.
I know, the Rockies, they're fighters, and they fight everyone, and they grew up with a lot of fighting in their families, and for them, life is a fight, and they have to work hard to make money. And, is there enough food on the table? And all those things that come with that. And if they fight everyone else,
they're fighting themselves.
Exactly. So I always say, Rockies, they fight the money rules. Rockefellers formulate the money rules. And then there are the other ones, in the middle are the rock and rollers. And why I call them the rock and rollers, it's not that they rock and roll. They're actually the opposite. They just follow the money rules. They try to follow everything and do it right. And they're stuck in this paradigm of trying not to be Rocky, but really aspiring to be a Rockefeller. And they sometimes live in this politeness and in this, everything had to be polite and nice. Things couldn't be talked about at home. It's a really tough position to be in. And my husband is a rock and roller. I'm a Rocky.
Well, you're teaching one another, learning from one another.
It has a huge impact on relationships.
Oh, yes. Well, a number one cause of divorce is money.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
No, with the compassion that you can create. It's really important to know what triggers each other's money code to really find out. So when I start fighting because I feel disconnected, that's when Rockies start fighting when they feel disconnected. That's how we connect. I'm going to start a fight because I want to just connect with you, right? My husband is so scared of a fight. That's the worst thing that you can do. Right? He wants it to be nice and happy, and for me, that's
Is he American?
Yes, he is. So it was really interesting in the first part of our marriage. to have
an adjustment.
An adjustment to
push me, pull you, push me, pull you.
Yes. And now if I start a fight, he says, "Oh, honey, I know you just want to connect with me."
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
sweet. And then he's going to benefit by it in the end anyway.
Yes. So when you learn about, you know, the triggers of your money code, you can relate to people in a very different way.
Yes.
And it has a huge impact on how you build your business, but also
Yes.
your relationships. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have this way of teaching people how to instantly connect, because if you have compassion or understanding with a Rockefeller, you're not going to judge them because you know what they're struggling with.
Right.
And you know what you're struggling with.
Right.
So it's powerful to teach it in a spiritual way.
Oh, yes.
You know, in a way that it creates more compassion.
Exactly.
And
that's
understanding
the key.
why we do what we do.
That's why we're here. And we're here to be able to express that to other people.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's why I'm here too, is to be able to understand where someone else is coming from.
Yeah.
You know, and help them, assist them.
Yeah. Well, and money has, you know, so attached to so many feelings. Right?
And it's just an energy,
Yeah.
flow of energy. You
Yeah.
know, we put too much value on it, actually.
Yeah.
You know, way too much value. And this is one thing that I talk about on this show.
Yeah.
And that's why I bring up examples of, you know, how, you know, CEOs of companies are, you know, the examples I had today, this evening, is, you know, good, it's about time, you know, ethics, integrity around money. I mean, money is not the root of, you know, they say money's the root of evil. No, it's the people that put the value on the money that it, you know, it becomes evil.
Yeah.
Because they've lost that unconditional love. I mean, that's what I talk about on this show, is that, you know, when you have that unconditional love, you have everything. And it all starts in here. Here I am.
I love that.
But, you know, it all starts inside. And so...
Yeah, it does.
You know, and I love the work you're doing. That's great. I haven't been able to, I haven't thus far shared your wonderful workshops, which I've seen come through Facebook all the time, and through Brandy and so forth. But I'm sure you're helping and assisting many, many, many people in their transformation around the codes.
Yeah. Well, and relating, if you have a different relationship with money, things, you know, don't have to be that hard. A lot of people sometimes make money and then they lose it.
Yes.
They spend it fast, like you were saying, you know.
Well, you know, there's enough, and I've said this many times, there's more than enough money on this planet for everybody to have, everybody, and I mean everybody, the babies in China and India, to have $8 to $10 million apiece.
Yeah.
Now, that to me, probably 98% of the people wouldn't know how to manage that money and keep it and invest it so they'd have it for their future. Yeah. They just don't know how, because either they don't think big enough or they aren't disciplined enough to be able to invest it and wisely and manage it wisely.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess that's maybe why there aren't more multi-millionaires. I mean, it's so out of balance. But you know, we're here to change that.
Yes.
We're here to change that.
Yeah. Well, and it's part of, you know, also your own journey with money, because, you know, people have the way they grow up with money. Then you go to college, there's a new way of relating to money. Then you start your work and you have another way of relating to money. You know what I mean? There are these stages of layers of money,
right,
and how you relate to it. But the great part is that you can create it new and fresh every second.
That's what I love about everything in our life, is that you can be free of any of the shackles of the bondage of anything if you focus in on it. If you become, when that switch goes on, when you become aware, you're free. That's what we're here for, is to have that freedom. And yes, freedom with financial abundance, wealth. That's what we're all here, you know, on whatever level that you want.
Yeah.
So you know, it's wonderful. So what is the best suggestion or suggestions you can give our audience and our viewers around the spiritual application of wealth?
Well, I think the first thing is if you want to grow or change, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Because whatever you're comfortable with also kept you stuck wherever you're at. And when you get uncomfortable, there's some golden nugget in that uncomfortableness. Because, you know, you've known your life in a certain way, so if life is hard, you have to work hard to make money. The uncomfortable thing for Rocky, for example, would be that it would be easy to make money. They're even afraid. You know, I was working with one person saying, well, you could make $500,000 this way. And the person said, well, that would be too easy. You know what I mean?
Sabotage right there.
No,
Sabotaging.
Instead of, you know, making six figures, I mean, this may be big numbers for some people, but it seemed so easy to make that kind of money this way that it wouldn't even be, you know, the comfort zone was, it has to be hard. If it's easy, it's a warning sign.
Wow.
I shouldn't go down that road because that can't be real. So it's really about finding where your uncomfort zone is.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people just try to...
Did you say uncomfort zone?
Yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to reiterate that. Uncomfort zone.
That's it. Your uncomfort zone. Where is it and what is it? And to step into that, you know, I teach it also in sacred sales because, you know, when you have sales conversations with people, and everyone has sales conversations because everyone who is in business in some form, even with your husbands or wives, you have sales conversations about who brings out the garbage.
Right.
It's a sales conversation.
It's a negotiation.
Right. And
always.
Some people are really scared when the money conversation comes up. Right? There's this fear about worth and the fear about, and people experience it. It's this uncomfortableness that they're feeling because, you know, you're saying what you're worth. And in that moment,
yes,
you know,
and that's what we all need to do.
And practice it. It's standing in the fire.
That's right.
I call it standing in the fire.
Another example, that the metaphor that I like to use is an oyster. An oyster, you know, is this closed up thing, but what happens is the sand gets in and irritates it, and irritates it, and irritates it, and irritates it, until it develops a beautiful pearl. So that rub, and I'll take this from Michael Beckwith, the rub is what makes us. It's like the diamond in the rough. You know, you polish it, you keep working it, and that's what we're all here to do, is to keep working it so we can be the best that we can be in every moment. Yeah.
And I love that. The part that I love too is, okay, if you do the rub and you do that uncomfortableness, make sure that you have enough support. Become part of a community. We have our community and our clients. They get lots of support. They support each other. They get support from us. That's important because, you know, you put your toe out and you try things new and you want to change something, and it's easier with support.
Yes.
And women are great with that. They just need to reach out and find the right place and find the right mentor to really get the right support so that they are in that uncomfort zone, not alone.
Absolutely.
Right? That's really important. If you are making that decision, okay, I want to change things for myself, I want to make more money, I want to build my business or start a business, that you get that support and the community so that you can thrive in that when it gets uncomfortable or you just want to hide, you know, that there's a reaching hand, a helping hand there for you to keep going. You know, keep going.
Yes.
Feel the fear anyway, right? There's this huge thing about that.
For me, and you know, maybe it's because I have had lack of family support. My support comes through my spirituality. You know, I am an advocate for, you know, going to my God source. That's where I get my support when, because, you know, human beings can't always give it to you. So that's where that spiritual piece comes in.
That too.
That's extremely important.
Well, but what I love though, seeing women support each other, there's a lot of spirituality in that.
Yes, well, it is
When there's
spiritual.
collaboration, you know,
Yes.
with my business partner, we are collaborating. We build a business in 2 years, $1 million business in 2 years. And you grow.
Yes.
You know, and there's a
Yes.
lot of giving and taking and collaborating. And I find that
Communicating.
communicating, and that's the beautiful part that women have, that if, you know, there is a lot of spirituality in that.
Yes. Oh, well, it is spirituality in action.
Exactly.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been wonderful. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we finish? I think we're coming to the end here, and I just am so grateful that you are here and you've been able to share your wonderful information and your Berlin story, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, the last thing I would say is, maybe a lot of people are worried about their walls. If it's a money wall, if it's a wall that keeps you away from things. And I always say, you know, if the most dangerous wall came down, the Berlin Wall came down, any of your walls can come down.
Amen. Yes. Yes.
And that's the last thing I would really love to share, that you know, we survived it. We survived the odds. The wall came down. The freedom is here, and so the possibility for anybody out there to thrive and to build whatever they want to build is here. It's already here.
Yes, yes. And you first must see it in your mind. It all starts in your mind.
That's right.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Vinca, for being here. It's been wonderful. And I'm so happy that you were able to be here again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Pursuit of your purpose and passion. And even if you don't know what that is, work with integrity and have a positive attitude wherever you work, and especially with your family and friends. Be grateful for what you have, who you are, and be grateful for your freedom, and eat healthy. Good nutrition feeds the mind and your body. Don't forget to feed your spirituality with unconditional love. And firstly, love yourself unconditionally and share your abundance and wealth with others. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Until next time.